Reaction is pouring in on President Trump's attacks on professional athletes who kneel during the national anthem or refuse to visit the White House. The president's full-throttle fury took the sports world by surprise. After all, the president had a busy week with that last-minute Republican effort to repeal Obamacare, the crisis over North Korea's nuclear weapons. Well, earlier I spoke with CNN political commentator Van Jones, a former Obama advisor, for his take on the president's remarks.
We're still in the aftermath of these devastating storms when a president should be pulling the country together, and we could be on the eve of war with North Korea when the president should be pulling the country together. And instead, he's going for cheap applause lines at campaign-style rallies that strike a really tough nerve, I think, for African Americans. I think if you're not from the United States, you might say, what the heck is this all about? Owners in these big league sports are overwhelmingly white men. The players are overwhelmingly young and African American. And so the idea that he's going to come into this conflict, side with the owners, and basically tell the owners to go and discipline all these black guys, it lands very, very poorly. Big picture, you do have three very important values at war here. You have the value of free speech, which is important. You have the value of respecting the flag in America, which is important. And you have the value of the civil rights of African Americans who feel that the police have been less than respectful of the humanity of African Americans all too often. And so it's a very complex situation. You need nuance, and instead you get a bulldozer response from the President of the United States, one-sided, tone deaf, and instead of pulling the country together in the aftermath of tragedy and possibly on the eve of war, we're fighting over the weekend.
Van, do you think the president is using sports as a proxy for this racial divide in our country?
You know, there's a long history of that. Back when Johnson was the first black heavyweight champion. If you knock out a white guy, there would be riots in the country. There's this whole kind of substitution effect with sports and politics. It goes back to the Greeks. And so I do think that when he leans in to sports, he is in that tradition of kind of using this as a way to talk about some other issues. As somebody who's raising young boys, having a Steph Curry out there gives them somebody to look up to. His work ethic is unbelievable. Of course, LeBron James has an incredible success story as well. These are people who we should be lifting up and celebrating and giving them high fives and pointing them out for the positives. And instead, we're in some crazy food fight about whether somebody's going to come to my birthday party or not. This is silly. It's beneath the president, and it doesn't make any sense.
Now, while the president wages war on the NFL and NBA, North Korea says a strike on the United States is inevitable.